All right, let's think about matter. I think a lot of us already know a few things about matter. Matter is anything that has mass or takes up space. Meaning, mass, meaning it has stuff. And we measure mass in grams or kilograms. And taking up space, we call that volume. And volume we can measure depending on the object. A regular, like square object, we can measure height times width times length. And with an irregular object, we can drop that in a cylinder of water and see how much the water goes up. That would be called displacement. So this is how we think about matter. And so there's a square. We're going to go ahead and say that we can measure that volume by length, by multiplying length times width times height. Let me call that volume. So we know that matter, many of us know that matter comes in three states: solid, liquids, and gases. And all matter, if you look at it very, 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 very closely, closer than any microscope that we have can look at it, all matter is made up of tiny little particles called atoms. And these atoms we can represent in models, or these particles we can represent in models with just little circles. All right, so that's to simplify it for our class, we're just going to model them with little dots. All right. And these little dots, these little particles, are always moving. It doesn't matter what state of matter, they're always moving. Always moving. And we know something about things that are moving. What kind of energy is in something that's moving? Well, we call that kind of energy, the energy of movement, we call that kinetic energy. So, particles in matter have kinetic energy. Pretty cool. So that means everything around you, look around you, all that stuff is buzzing with energy. Even though it doesn't look like it, like that chair in front of you, it doesn't look like it has energy, but it does actually inside of the matter. All right, and so if we think about those particles in different states of matter, solids, liquids, and gases, solids have the slowest moving particles. Gases, or liquids, sorry, have the second slowest moving particles, and gases have the fastest particles. I can spell liquids right. And so gases have the fastest particles. And so this just means that solids, the particles in solids, have the least amount of kinetic energy, and the particles in gases have the most kinetic energy. I'm going to just represent kinetic energy with Ke. And so if you're thinking about how does energy and the change of matter relate, if you add energy to a solid, it will cause those particles to move faster. Eventually the solid will become a liquid, and then it will become a gas if you keep adding energy. Where does this energy come from that we're adding? Well, it comes from heat. So to change the state, energy needs to be added or taken away. So maybe we add ice and we pull energy. So in summary, matter is anything that takes up space and has mass. It's made of particles. Those particles are always moving, therefore they have energy. Solids have the lowest amount of kinetic energy. Gases have the highest amount of kinetic energy. To change states of matter from solid to liquid to gas or from gas to liquid to solid, energy needs to be added or taken away. That energy is in the form of heat. So, for example, if you add heat to ice, you're adding kinetic energy to those particles. They're going to move apart and turn into liquid water.